waving through the doorway, like just an empty, there's no head, there's no body, there's no legs, it's just there, and then it disappears.
Keanu Reeves has always stood apart from the Hollywood crowd, not only because of his career choices, but also due to the way he chooses to live. When he revealed that he refuses to live in Hollywood, it did not come across as surprising to those who have followed his path closely. Reeves is one of the rare figures in the film industry who commands immense fame, yet deliberately distances himself from the glitz, glamour, and chaos that often define the lives of his peers. His refusal to immerse himself in Hollywood living is not an act of rebellion so much as it is a statement about priorities, peace of mind, and the search for authenticity in a world built around illusion. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. Hollywood, at its core, represents more than just a geographical location. It is a symbol, a cultural hub of entertainment where status, wealth, and visibility shape one's standing. For many, living within this bubble is both a career move and a lifestyle choice. Reeves' decision to remove himself from this environment highlights his rejection of the pressures that Hollywood living imposes. While countless celebrities seek proximity to studios, parties, and constant exposure, Reeves has shown that he values distance as a way to preserve his sense of self. His refusal to embrace Hollywood as his home tells a deeper story about the ways in which fame can consume and distort personal identity if allowed to take full control. The choice to live outside of Hollywood carries significant implications. First, it symbolizes a deliberate detachment from an industry culture that thrives on image. Hollywood homes are often associated with wealth displays, extravagant gatherings, and the performance of success. Reeves' withdrawal from this pattern suggests his desire to separate his work as an actor from his private existence as a man. By not living where the industry's pulse beats the loudest, he shields himself from the performative demands of Hollywood's social circles. This separation may be what allows him to maintain the humility and grounded nature that fans have long admired. Reeves' distance from Hollywood also speaks to his pursuit of normalcy. For someone who has reached international stardom through films like The Matrix and John Wick, the temptation to bask in celebrity culture would have been strong. Yet Reeves has consistently demonstrated that he does not chase validation through lifestyle choices. He is known for taking the subway, engaging in ordinary conversations with strangers, and choosing modest accommodations over sprawling mansions. His refusal to live in Hollywood extends this ethos of normalcy, reminding both fans and industry insiders that fame does not have to dictate the entirety of one's life. For Reeves, maintaining privacy and simplicity is more valuable than any status Hollywood living could provide. The implications of this decision ripple outwards, challenging the traditional narratives of stardom. In a culture where actors are often judged as much by their lifestyles as by their performances, Reeves creates a counterexample. His success proves that one can reach the highest levels of acclaim without subscribing to the environment that Hollywood prescribes. In doing so, he subtly critiques the industry's obsession with appearances. His stance indirectly questions why fame should demand constant visibility, why success must be tethered to an address in the Hollywood Hills, and why personal life must be sacrificed for professional gains. Reeves presents an alternative path, one in which an actor can achieve prominence without surrendering their humanity. There is also a psychological layer to this choice. Hollywood is notorious for its relentless pace, its constant demand for reinvention, and its punishing cycles of attention and scrutiny. Many actors who live within its confines find themselves caught in a whirlwind of gossip, paparazzi intrusion, and social hierarchies. By staying away from that center, Reeves safeguards his mental and emotional well-being. Distance becomes a form of protection, a way to preserve peace in a profession that often strips individuals of it. It reflects his awareness that the external pressures of Hollywood living can erode inner stability, and his refusal to be consumed by it demonstrates a deep commitment to balance. Reeves' decision can also be read through the lens of artistry. Actors who live in Hollywood often blur the line between their professional image and personal reality. By separating his living space from the environment that fuels his career, Reeves creates a boundary that allows him to approach his craft with clarity. He steps into the industry as needed, delivers performances that captivate audiences, and then retreats to a life not defined by those performances. This rhythm preserves the purity of his work, allowing him to engage with acting as a craft rather than a lifestyle obligation. It highlights a philosophy where art is central, but the machinery surrounding it is not allowed to dominate. For fans, Reeves' rejection of Hollywood living is an extension of the values they already see in him. He is admired for generosity, humility, and kindness, and his lifestyle choices reinforce that image. By not immersing himself in Hollywood culture, he becomes more relatable, almost paradoxically, despite his fame. Fans see him as someone who resists the temptations of excess, someone who chooses authenticity over performance. This relatability strengthens the bond between him and the public, making him more than just a movie star. He becomes a figure of integrity in an industry often criticized for its superficiality. Beyond personal implications, Reeves' stance sheds light on broader cultural shifts. Audiences today are increasingly skeptical of celebrity culture, and many crave authenticity from public figures. Reeves embodies that authenticity by refusing to live within Hollywood's constructed bubble. His choice resonates in a cultural moment where people value transparency and humanity over polish and spectacle. It speaks to a growing recognition that success does not have to mean assimilation into pre-established molds, and that individuality can thrive even in an industry that often discourages it. Reeves, by living outside Hollywood, becomes a cultural touchstone for this shift, embodying the possibility of fame without compromise. His decision also provokes reflection within the industry itself. If one of the most recognizable actors in the world refuses to live in Hollywood, what does that say about the culture of the place? It suggests that the very epicenter of global entertainment may not provide the fulfillment many assume it does. It raises questions about the sustainability of a system that pressures artists to conform to a certain lifestyle. Reeves' stance invites both fans and industry insiders to reconsider the value placed on Hollywood as not just a physical location, but as an ideological construct. His choice is a quiet yet powerful challenge to the norms that govern celebrity life. Moreover, Reeves' approach underscores the importance of autonomy. Many in Hollywood become trapped by expectations, bound to live in certain neighborhoods, attend certain events, and maintain certain appearances. Reeves' refusal to participate demonstrates that it is possible to carve out a space where autonomy is prioritized over expectation. This autonomy is not only liberating, but also empowering. It shows that even within the most scrutinized profession, there is room for self-determination. His lifestyle becomes a testament to the idea that the individual can resist the tide of conformity and still succeed. There is a timeless quality to Reeves' choice as well. Hollywood, with all its transformations, remains a place where stories are produced and stars are born. Yet Reeves' decision connects to a much older idea: the search for peace in a noisy world. His refusal to live in Hollywood mirrors the timeless human desire to find sanctuary, to retreat from chaos in pursuit of clarity. It elevates his story beyond the realm of celebrity gossip into something more universal. In his decision, people see not just a movie star making an unusual choice, but a human being navigating the tension between public life and private peace. The implications of Reeves' refusal extend into the way future generations of actors may perceive Hollywood living. As the industry evolves, the notion of proximity to Hollywood as a prerequisite for success diminishes. Technology, global productions, and digital platforms have already decentralized the industry. Reeves' example reinforces this decentralization, showing that an actor can thrive without anchoring themselves to Hollywood. It provides a model for future performers who may seek careers without sacrificing personal values or falling into the lifestyle traps that Hollywood often sets. In this way, his decision is not just personal, but also symbolic of broader changes in the industry. What makes Reeves' stance particularly compelling is that it aligns seamlessly with the way he carries himself in every aspect of life. His choice to stay away from Hollywood does not feel like an act of defiance or rebellion for attention, but rather a natural extension of who he is. This consistency makes the message even more powerful. Audiences sense that his refusal to live in Hollywood is not a calculated move, but a genuine expression of his values. That authenticity is what gives the decision its resonance, transforming it from a personal preference into a cultural statement. Keanu Reeves' decision not to live in Hollywood is far more layered than it might appear on the surface. At first glance, it might seem like a simple preference, a matter of choosing one neighborhood over another, but when examined closely, it reveals itself as an act of quiet defiance, personal clarity, and cultural significance. Expanding on what this means requires looking not only at Reeves himself, but also at the broader world of Hollywood, how it functions, and what it demands of those who reside within its boundaries. His refusal exposes the structures that hold power in the entertainment industry and makes clear how deliberately stepping away from them can preserve a life that is not entirely consumed by fame. Hollywood, as both a geographical location and a symbolic institution, thrives on proximity. Actors, producers, directors, and executives often cluster close together in order to maintain networks, social standing, and visibility. This closeness creates an environment of constant comparison where material possessions and appearances can become markers of success. Houses in the Hollywood Hills or Beverly Hills are often extensions of one's career, used not only as private spaces but as stages for social gatherings and professional maneuvering. By rejecting the need to situate himself in that environment, Reeves essentially denies the logic of this system. He is choosing to separate the work he does from the space where he lives, refusing to let his home become yet another theater of performance. For Reeves, this deliberate separation becomes an act of preservation. The Hollywood ecosystem has a history of devouring the very people who fuel it. The constant presence of paparazzi, the endless cycle of red carpet events, and the obsession with image can be overwhelming even for the most seasoned of actors. Many who live in the heart of it all find themselves under unrelenting scrutiny, their homes becoming open targets for intrusion. Reeves' choice to distance himself from this world suggests that he values a form of safety that cannot be bought by expensive security systems or high walls. Instead, it comes from choosing a space where the spotlight does not reach as intensely, where privacy can still exist, and where the rhythms of life can unfold without the constant hum of industry chatter. This decision also speaks volumes about the way Reeves perceives fame itself. For many, fame is inseparable from lifestyle. Success is often measured not just by career achievements, but by visible displays of luxury. Reeves, however, appears uninterested in such displays. His refusal to live in Hollywood reflects his understanding that fame is fleeting, and that tying personal identity to it can lead to fragility. By situating his life outside the structures that reinforce fame, he resists the temptation to equate self-worth with public perception. He demonstrates a rare ability to keep fame in its place, a byproduct of his work, not the foundation of his existence. Another dimension worth exploring is how Reeves' stance reflects his awareness of Hollywood's performative nature. Life in that environment is often about maintaining an image, curating a persona, and performing success even off-camera. This blurring of performance and reality can lead to a lack of authenticity, where interactions are filtered through ambition and appearances. By choosing not to live there, Reeves avoids being ensnared in this perpetual performance. He creates a boundary where his interactions can remain genuine, where relationships are not forged purely on professional convenience, and where life is not reduced to a constant audition for social approval. This act of distancing himself reflects not withdrawal, but resistance to the commodification of private life. There is also a strong cultural symbolism in Reeves' refusal. Hollywood, in many ways, is a global brand. Its hills, landmarks, and neighborhoods symbolize dreams, ambition, and the possibility of success. To live there is to live within a myth, to embody the fantasy that people around the world attach to the film industry. Reeves' choice to stay outside of it challenges this mythology. It says that success does not need to be embodied in a zip code or displayed through proximity to the center of the action. His decision subverts the narrative that Hollywood is the pinnacle of achievement, presenting instead the possibility that real fulfillment comes from stepping outside its mythological boundaries. On a deeper level, Reeves' decision also signals a profound sense of self-awareness. Many in the entertainment industry struggle with the loss of identity as their lives become consumed by roles, projects, and the endless attention of fans and media. By refusing to live in Hollywood, Reeves asserts his control over his identity. He is not simply Keanu Reeves the actor, but Keanu Reeves the person, whose life extends beyond sets and premieres. This decision reveals his recognition that the preservation of oneself requires distance from systems designed to consume. His refusal is thus not only about geography, but also about philosophy. a way of living where the self is prioritized over the machine of celebrity. This move also highlights the importance of space in shaping identity, where one chooses to live is not simply about convenience, but also about values. Hollywood homes often become showcases for power and taste, but Reeves's rejection of this pattern demonstrates that his identity is not rooted in material presentation. Instead, he situates his life in a space where he can cultivate values of modesty, humility, and normalcy. By doing so, he resists being reduced to a stereotype of the celebrity lifestyle. His home becomes not a stage but a sanctuary, a place where the values he holds can thrive away from the performative gaze of Hollywood culture. Reeves's rejection of Hollywood living can also be linked to his approach to craft. Acting for him appears to be less about the pursuit of fame and more about the pursuit of artistry. By choosing not to live in Hollywood, he creates a distinction between the art he creates and the culture that surrounds it. This separation allows him to approach his craft without being swallowed by the industry's demands. It preserves his ability to engage with roles authentically, to commit to stories without the noise of celebrity expectations clouding his vision. For Reeves, the refusal to live in Hollywood is perhaps a necessary condition for maintaining the purity of his artistic pursuit. From a societal standpoint, his choice also resonates with the growing skepticism around celebrity culture. Many people today are disillusioned with the excesses and superficiality often associated with Hollywood living. Reeves's decision to step away from it aligns with this cultural sentiment, making him a figure of relatability. Fans see in him a rejection of the artificial, a preference for something more human and real. This resonance strengthens his public image not as a distant, untouchable star, but as someone who, despite immense fame, remains grounded in values recognizable to ordinary people. His choice becomes not just personal, but emblematic of a broader cultural longing for authenticity in an age dominated by spectacle. There is also a fascinating tension in Reeves' refusal. He is one of the most bankable actors of his generation, capable of carrying major franchises and generating billions at the box office. Yet the very culture that Hollywood thrives on, the culture of status, wealth, and display, holds little appeal for him. This tension forces a reconsideration of what success in the industry truly means. Reeves' example proves that one can exist at the highest level of the profession while simultaneously rejecting its dominant culture. It suggests that the definitions of success in Hollywood are more flexible than often assumed, and that it is possible to thrive without surrendering to its expectations. Another implication of this choice is how it reframes ideas of power within the industry. Many assume that power in Hollywood is tied to visibility, connections, and constant presence. Reeves challenges this by showing that true power lies in autonomy, in the ability to say no, and in the ability to live outside the structures that define others. His refusal to live in Hollywood is an exercise of this power. It is a demonstration that he does not need to conform in order to remain relevant, that his talent and integrity carry more weight than his address. This shift in perception destabilizes the traditional hierarchies of Hollywood living, suggesting that independence can be just as powerful as conformity. Looking at this decision from the perspective of longevity, Reeves's stance makes even more sense. Hollywood is littered with cautionary tales of stars who burned brightly but were consumed by the culture that surrounded them. The pressures of constant visibility, the lure of excess, and the erosion of privacy have destroyed countless careers and lives. By refusing to live within that environment, Reeves safeguards himself from these pitfalls. His decision is as much about sustainability as it is about preference. It is a long-term strategy for preserving not only his career but his life beyond it, ensuring that he remains intact as both an artist and a human being. Reeves' approach also reveals something about the evolution of celebrity itself. In earlier decades, proximity to Hollywood was almost a necessity. It was where deals were made, connections were forged, and careers were built. But in today's globalized digital industry, physical location matters less. Reeves embodies this shift, showing that an actor can operate from outside the Hollywood bubble and still command influence on a global scale. His refusal reflects the broader decentralization of fame in the digital age, where success is no longer confined to specific geographies, but is spread across global audiences, online platforms, and diverse production landscapes. His stance also forces a deeper examination of the values underlying Hollywood culture. Why has proximity become such a marker of success? Why has living in certain neighborhoods become almost synonymous with professional legitimacy? Reeves' refusal disrupts these unspoken rules, revealing them as constructs rather than necessities. By stepping away, he shows that these values are not inherent but imposed, and that they can be rejected without consequence. His decision exposes the fragility of Hollywood's cultural codes and demonstrates the possibility of living outside them. The implications extend beyond the entertainment industry into broader societal conversations about success, privacy, and autonomy. Reeves' refusal challenges the widespread assumption that success must be publicly displayed. In a culture dominated by social media and constant visibility, his stance is countercultural. It suggests that fulfillment comes not from exposure, but from privacy, not from proximity to power, but from autonomy. This message resonates widely, offering an alternative vision of success in a world increasingly consumed by appearances. Reeves becomes not only a model for actors, but also for anyone seeking to resist societal pressures to perform success publicly. Even more profoundly, his decision touches on the human desire for peace. Hollywood living is synonymous with noise, literal noise from traffic and parties, but also metaphorical noise from constant attention and expectation. Reeves' refusal reflects a prioritization of quiet. In choosing not to live in Hollywood, he chooses an environment where he can hear himself think, where life is not drowned out by the ceaseless buzz of industry chatter. This choice elevates peace as a value equal to, if not greater than, fame or wealth. It resonates with universal longings for balance and simplicity, making his refusal relatable even to those far removed from Hollywood's world. What also emerges from this decision is a redefinition of what it means to belong to Hollywood. Reeves proves that one can belong to the industry without being geographically or culturally tethered to it. His career continues to flourish despite his physical distance, undermining the myth that Hollywood is a place one must inhabit to be successful. This redefinition expands the possibilities for others in the industry, suggesting that there are many ways to engage with the profession without being subsumed by its culture. His refusal becomes not just a personal act, but a collective reimagining of what Hollywood participation can look like. Reeves' choice is also a quiet form of rebellion. It is not loud or dramatic, but it is powerful in its simplicity. By refusing to live in Hollywood, he resists an entire system of expectations without needing to make speeches or public declarations. His life becomes the declaration. This kind of rebellion is particularly striking because it is so understated. It is not about drawing attention, but about living truthfully. In an industry where rebellion is often commodified and turned into spectacle, Reeves's quiet refusal stands out as authentic and unassimilated. The implications of his stance reach into the future of celebrity culture. As audiences continue to crave authenticity, and as the digital age decentralizes fame, Reeves's approach may become a model rather than an exception. His refusal to live in Hollywood foreshadows a cultural shift where success is no longer measured by proximity to power, but by integrity, autonomy, and balance. In this sense, his decision is not only about the present, but also about the possibilities of the future, pointing toward a world where living authentically matters more than living visibly. Keanu Reeves' stance on not living in Hollywood can also be understood through the lens of freedom, an idea that underpins much of his life and career. Freedom in this sense is not about rejecting work or avoiding responsibility, but about choosing the terms on which one engages with the world. Hollywood living for many becomes a gilded cage, a place where success provides comfort but also imposes constraints. Reeves' refusal to embrace this lifestyle is a clear assertion of his desire for unbounded freedom, both physical and psychological. By distancing himself from Hollywood, he reclaims agency over his environment, refusing to be defined by the expectations of the industry or the narrow confines of its culture. There is a deep irony in Reeves's decision. Hollywood is often seen as the reward for those who make it in the film industry. Mansions in the hills, gated communities, and panoramic views are presented as symbols of having arrived. Yet Reeves, who has undeniably made it by any metric of career success, walks away from this supposed prize. In doing so, he questions the very premise of what constitutes a reward. His choice suggests that the trappings of Hollywood are not rewards at all, but potential burdens, tying one's life too tightly to an environment that thrives on spectacle and scrutiny. By rejecting this conventional reward, Reeves implicitly asks whether the things most people in Hollywood chase are truly worth chasing. This act also emphasizes the importance of boundaries. In the entertainment industry, the line between personal life and public identity is often blurred. For many stars, Hollywood living erodes these boundaries, as their homes become extensions of their celebrity. Reeves' refusal to live there serves as a physical boundary that reinforces his psychological ones. He marks a clear separation between where he works and where he lives, between the roles he plays and the person he is. This act of boundary making not only protects his privacy, but also preserves his sense of individuality. In a profession where boundaries are constantly challenged, this decision becomes an act of self-preservation. Looking beyond his personal circumstances, Reeves' decision also highlights the growing disillusionment many feel with traditional centers of cultural power. Hollywood, once the unquestioned epicenter of the entertainment world, is no longer the sole locus of creativity or influence. The rise of streaming platforms, international productions, and global markets has dispersed power across the world. Reeves' choice to live outside of Hollywood reflects this decentralization, showing that physical proximity to its studios and neighborhoods is no longer a requirement for artistic or commercial success. His refusal to live in Hollywood can be seen as a symbol of this larger transformation, where success is increasingly detached from geographical centers. From a philosophical perspective, Reeves' stance embodies the principle of detachment. Detachment does not mean disinterest, but rather the ability to engage deeply without being consumed. Hollywood culture thrives on attachment to image, to status, to possessions. Reeves' refusal to live there reflects a practice of detachment, allowing him to participate in the industry without becoming engulfed by it. This detachment gives him clarity, enabling him to approach his work with focus while maintaining a life that is not defined by industry dynamics. It is a practice of balance, a reminder that engagement does not have to mean surrender. One of the less discussed aspects of his decision is how it influences the perception of home itself. In Hollywood culture, home often becomes another platform for performance, a space curated as carefully as a red carpet appearance. Magazine spreads and media tours through celebrity homes reinforce this trend, turning private spaces into public spectacles. Reeves' choice to avoid Hollywood suggests that for him, home is not a stage, but a sanctuary. This view challenges the commodification of private space, presenting an alternative where home retains its original meaning, a place of rest, reflection, and authenticity. In doing so, he highlights the value of keeping some aspects of life shielded from public view. This choice also reshapes the relationship between celebrity and accessibility. Many celebrities, by situating themselves in Hollywood, create a distance from ordinary people, surrounding themselves with walls, gates, and layers of exclusivity. Reeves' refusal to live there contributes to his reputation for accessibility. He is often photographed in everyday settings, on public transportation, in small cafes, walking city streets. His lifestyle suggests that fame does not have to mean isolation from the world, that one can remain part of ordinary life despite extraordinary success. This accessibility strengthens his bond with fans, making him appear more human in an industry often criticized for its detachment from reality. At a deeper cultural level, Reeves' stance resonates with the critique of consumerism. Hollywood living is often equated with lavish consumption, luxury cars, expansive mansions, and extravagant lifestyles. These symbols of consumption reinforce the idea that success is measured by accumulation. Reeves' rejection of this model positions him outside the culture of consumerist excess. His life suggests that fulfillment does not come from accumulation, but from simplicity, peace, and authenticity. This critique is powerful precisely because it is lived, not preached. Reeves does not position himself as a critic of consumerism through speeches or campaigns, but through choices, which makes the message all the more compelling. There is also a spiritual undertone to this decision. Reeves' life and career have often reflected themes of introspection, loss, and resilience. His refusal to live in Hollywood can be understood as part of this spiritual journey, a search for meaning beyond material success. Hollywood culture, with its emphasis on visibility and status, often distracts from deeper questions of purpose. By stepping away from it, Reeves creates space for reflection, for a life guided not by external validation, but by internal compass. This spiritual dimension adds depth to his choice, elevating it from a personal preference to a philosophical stance about what matters most in life. In the realm of artistry, his refusal also serves as a reminder that great performances do not require immersion in celebrity culture. Many actors believe that to remain relevant, they must constantly participate in Hollywood's social ecosystem, attending events and maintaining visibility. Reeves proves the opposite, that artistry can speak louder than presence, that the craft itself can sustain relevance without the need for constant exposure. His success, despite living outside Hollywood, reinforces the idea that talent and dedication matter more than participation in celebrity culture. For young actors, this becomes an inspiring model, showing that it is possible to prioritize craft over culture. The implications of this decision also extend into the psychology of fame. Living in Hollywood often means living under constant surveillance, both by paparazzi and by peers. This surveillance creates pressure to maintain an image at all times, leading to stress, insecurity, and even mental health struggles. Reeves' choice to live outside that environment can be seen as a proactive step to preserve psychological well-being. By removing himself from the most intense zones of surveillance, he reduces the pressure to constantly perform his celebrity identity. This choice reflects a deep understanding of the psychological toll of fame and a commitment to protecting his own mental balance. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Keanu Reeves refusing Hollywood life and fame? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.